question from last week.
Wait, Chris, what object is that?
It's,
It's a shot measure.
there you go.
Okay.
I was like, I know the real.
There's a
it's
pull shot.
What's the real name for it?
It's
A
a jigger.
boutique.
I hate you. I knew you. That's dirty as hell. Why you gotta be so damn rude?
Oh my god. Is it worse that I didn't know that?
You didn't know that? Then why'd you ask me?
I felt like it was gonna be a good name, regardless. Like, the
He
payoff.
felt it coming.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You feel my hesitant and not wanting to say it?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Delicious.
Alright, y'all, y'all good.
We're going. We're good.
Yep.
Everything's all good in the hood.
What are we talking about?
I mean, if you, yeah, we could start off with all the announcements that we got to make, like all the moves that have been made in the last week.
Oh yeah.
So starting off, we're going to start doing individual giveaways on twitch.tv/Anton6 with 3 X's and twitch.tv/SunnyChifa, because we, on twitch.tv/Anton6, we have all the episodes streamed live every Wednesday, and so we have a lot of engagement over there. And our YouTube content is streamed on twitch.tv/SunnyChifa. So the rules for the giveaway will be everybody who subscribes will get an entry. Everybody who gifts a subscription will get another entry for themselves. So
That means you.
right, anybody watching live, anybody listening to the podcast later who wants to start watching live, subs to either channel get you entered into the giveaways. We'll start picking out prizes and we'll start doing giveaways more frequently.
Because we got a lot of shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literal
Yeah.
closet
Does that
full
include
of
subscriptions to the YouTube channel?
no, because those are
No.
free. It's
Okay.
$5 a month to be sub to either of our
I
channels,
mean, I feel that.
and it helps us get more emotes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
And
want
it's
those
harder
emotes.
to track the YouTube subscriptions over, like Twitch will give me a list of these people did this,
Yeah.
where YouTube it won't be as, and hopefully the YouTube blows up significantly because we're all promoting it on our own channels. But the second piece of news is we're now on YouTube. We recorded a Persona special over the last week. It is now up on youtube.com/CheesyControllerPodcast.
Nice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Gotta make sure. I just Cheesy Controller, and so now we're gonna start working on more video content, and we're gonna start releasing the videos of the live stream podcast over on the YouTube. So that's just another way for people to engage with our content. We've been hearing a lot of people asking us to get on YouTube, so it's a move we made for the people.
For the people.
The next thing, we have a upcoming event, Chris related. We got a Resident Evil 2 speed run with
Speed run.
Chris. It's the Cheesy Controller podcast versus the Dead End Gaming podcast.
Here we go.
And so
Oh, shit.
they're gonna be,
Shit.
we're gonna
Fast.
stream. It'll probably be on twitch.tv/Anton6 for
Yeah.
your stream, but it's gonna be a head-to-head in the same room. I think BZ's will be on his Twitch,
Probably.
which is twitch.tv/BZ430. So
Yep. Do it.
head-to-head speed run. What's the date on that, Chris? And what are the rules? Because I was
The rules are gonna be
Get
no,
there first.
Yeah,
Every
pretty
time,
much.
every time you see a zombie, you have
Get
to
there
press.
first. No unlimited ammo. Play through A with Leon. Straight. Normal.
okay.
Yep. If you die, that goes against yours.
That's your time.
That's your time.
Right,
It's getting
yeah.
eaten away.
Don't die. Get there
Right.
first.
Sounds
And
dope.
that's what we're
So
working on.
So keep X from giving
yeah,
it to you.
I'm actually now. I started
Nice.
streaming today, and I'm practicing, learning those headshots.
well,
Get them reps.
what's your Twitch channel?
Chef and Chris.
Chef and Chris.
Chefin_Chris.
Cause he be cooking them.
Yeah.
Was it already on the Discord?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it did. I guess I streamed for the first time late, and it showed up 30 minutes after. I was like, stop streaming, and like 20 minutes later, it was like, Chris is streaming. I was like, that was 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, I pulled up. I was like,
Fizzled out. But speaking of Resident Evil, Capcom is its renaissance is in full swing right now, and I think Devil May Cry 5 comes out 2
Devil
days
May Cry.
after we record this. I got it preloaded. I'm super
Can't
excited
wait.
for it.
Doug, did you download the theme?
I don't. My theme is a pretty. I have a consistent set of themes.
Is it a dope theme?
The theme is pretty cool, but the music is like
Oh yeah.
it's like
That's
a,
what makes
it's
it.
like a jazz neo soul version of Devil Trigger. It's so relaxing.
Oh, I might. That music sounds.
That
Yeah,
might be the move.
It's
I need
might
a
have
new
to
theme.
it's definitely the move.
Just check it out.
Right. Yeah. The Nier theme didn't have the best music. It didn't have the music I was expecting it to. So I went back to rocking with my Symbols in the Sky one.
What music did the Nier theme have?
The menu, like the main menu, the
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
the not super, none of the good songs.
I got the
Right, not what you
Resident Evil
want.
2 theme, and it's so abrasive every single time you turn on the PlayStation. It's just like, bro. I'm like, whoa, I don't need this. It's 3 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
And I'm just sitting here chilling with my Persona 3 Dancing All Night theme.
There
Just,
you go.
Nice.
Oh, did those play music? Cause I feel like I had to.
I don't know.
play-
I had system music turned off on my system for like the past year and a half. I forgot themes had music until y'all mentioned it.
That's fair.
Well, yeah, I had mine off until I moved over to the monitor soundbar setup. It's really just a sound check to see if, cause I'll hop into a game and be like, okay, no audio, where's the problem? Is the problem like my monitor's not putting out audio? Is the problem the soundbar? Problem my headphones? Like, so now I have system music on just so I can get all that figured out before I get into anything.
I have not chosen the theme.
There are a lot of good
I'm a picky kind of guy.
That's
It takes a while.
Oh no, I've
Have
only
you
ever
looked at
used
them?
3 themes.
Yeah, I've been browsing in and out.
Yeah, I'd recommend the Journey one. I'd recommend the
Journey
Firewatch one. The Firewatch one is really like good. I'd recommend some of the Persona ones just
Yeah,
because
Persona 5 theme.
you get Beneath the Mask, which is the most chill Persona song ever, just playing in a loop. So there's that. I guess the Devil May Cry 5 one sounds pretty good. You got like today. You have 24 hours to pre-order to get that theme. That's one bad thing. A lot of themes are locked behind pre-orders, as well as avatars. Some of the best avatars on the PSN, you have to pre-order. Like Sonic Mania had some really good avatars, and the only way to get it was to pre-order it. And I saw the avatars, bought the game the day it came out, and didn't get anything.
Oh,
So.
man.
Oh yeah, like I have 2 Final Fantasy 14 themes from pre-ordering the expansions. Just
Nice.
that art style, that classic Final Fantasy painted art style.
Oh yeah. That's one thing Final Fantasy nails every time.
Darts.
Yeah,
I
there's
have
no such
to-
thing as a Final Fantasy with a bad aesthetic at all.
That's true.
Like even.
I don't even. Did you put words together to form a sentence right there? I feel like that's not even grammatically correct. Final Fantasy, bad aesthetic.
Does not come to you.
It doesn't sound right.
That doesn't even have a really good
Doesn't make sense.
mouthfeel either. It's just like,
No.
nah, that's just, why would you say that?
I feel like this like section of the stream's gonna just get muted. Just that's how bad that sounded.
Yeah. Twitch is gonna be like, no.
This ain't that Chief.
Same with the music though. Like,
Yeah.
is there a Final Fantasy game with a bad soundtrack? I'm pretty sure that was a sin I just said, but I'm asking the question anyway.
I mean, not all of them are as memorable, but like at least everyone has a song that you will hear. It's like Zelda. Every single Zelda has at least one song that they put at the forefront that like you hear that song and you instantly are transported to that game. That like, but there are probably some songs in Zelda that are throwaway. The same way Persona has a great soundtrack, but there are a couple songs that are just throwaway. Or Nier, the music in the background of the Nier theme is one of those throwaway tracks off the Nier soundtrack.
And
Oh,
also,
yeah, I wouldn't even call that a
Yu-Gi-Oh
throwaway.
card game had an amazing soundtrack.
Wait,
Oh,
which
yeah.
one?
Which one? Forbidden Memories?
The Game Boy one?
Yeah,
we
what
were at
are you
the
talking
PS-
about?
The PS2. The PS2.
Oh.
The duelist of like the roses?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
that was your character around. I just want a Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Right, I just want a duel, not.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
apparently the PS4, like whatever the Yu-Gi-Oh game is on PS4, is pretty
They're
decent.
still making a Yu-Gi-Oh game. for
Yeah.
PS4.
Wait.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game is still hitting. What are you
Yeah, the
talking
one
about?
on their
Yeah.
phone is solid.
Right.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can. There are Yu-Gi-Oh.
Look,
Video
it's all
game
part of the
card
coalition
game.
of fuck Konami.
Yeah,
True.
well, Yu-Gi-Oh is just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure with cards.
Well, I still need to know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. But I'm
Kaiba
also
was never that much of an asshole. Ever.
Okay, no, wait. First things
They
first,
have the
Kaiba
same-
was sucking his own dick. What
They
are you
have the
talking
same
about?
energy.
That's cool. But Kaiba never tried to like
Yeah, but that
Kaiba
was
was
steal
about
your
to kill
girl and
himself
kill your
over a
dog
card.
in one episode.
Kaiba was about to kill himself over a card game.
That's him.
He was
He
like,
tried to hurt himself. He never tried to
Yu-Gi-
kill a dog.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
What about
If I
Merrick?
beat you, if you beat me,
Merrick
I will
was a different story.
jump off.
Merrick tried to kill everybody, and that's fair.
That's fair.
That's fair.
We know
You don't
People were
personally
getting their
attack
souls
someone's
sucked
dog.
out of their body.
Honestly,
You don't burn that dog alive.
Actually, you haven't even seen True Fuckboy Dio.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and this is like not true fuckboy. This isn't final form, so
No,
never.
This is early form Dio. This is base level Dio.
this is Dio Light. Diet Dio. This conversation started about Devil May Cry 5. We
Look,
never
I'm
even
just
made
saying.
to the fact that it's performing extremely well on Metacritic and that Capcom is.
You mean we got a Devil May Cry game where Dante's acting like Dante? Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Damn, that's crazy.
I mean, they've re-released. So DMC, I saw you hating on DMC in the Discord earlier, and a lot of people's arguments for hating that game is because they changed the character in a way that people didn't like the change, or
Well, they didn't even make it work narratively though. Like the game had sweeping tonal shift problems. Like it
Right.
would go from sex jokes one day to talks about assault within the same sentence.
And I mean, so, but everybody, and we've talked about this on the podcast before, people put that game down like it was Dragon Ball GT. And that game was a good game. And everybody said if it had a different title on the box and the characters were named different things and nobody
Yeah.
said that it was Devil May Cry, that it'd be a universally regarded game. So the game on its own merits is good. Everybody just seems to hate on it because it exists within an IP that has a certain track record. And
Yeah, but then also like that game wasn't written well. Like even on its own merits, that game isn't written well.
yeah,
You
but
can't change that. They even edited for the definitive edition. They even changed lines and stuff in that game.
and I mean that Destiny 1 wasn't well written, but we still Destiny 1 was a quality video game. In a game with gameplay as good as that game, it should be regarded as a good action game because if Devil May Cry weren't on the case, and the story were even worse than what it currently is in the game.
No, we'd still make fun of it for that story. And that's the thing
But
about
nobody-
it. No one ever assaults that game for its gameplay. Why? Because the gameplay is good. We assault what's bad,
Is
i.e. everything else.
Bayonetta's story really that god tier?
It was fun. At least it was fun. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, Devil May Cry 4, Dante ends a boss by reciting erotic poetry because it's fun and silly.
Right, yeah.
This is just, like, really serious, and it's like...
Devil May Cry 5, he's dual wielding a single motorcycle.
He
that's
has a
the-
cowboy hat and he dances like Michael Jackson. I'm already sold.
He has a Mega Buster.
Yeah, I
That was
saw
one of
that.
the
I was
pre-order
really looking
bonus.
Like, we're back to
Yeah.
classic Devil May Cry stuff. Like,
I
Devil
got
May
that.
Cry was never that serious. That's part of the reason why DMC didn't work. It's like, we took
Yeah.
a series that wasn't actually that serious
And tried to.
and tried to make it that serious.
Yeah, and I mean, I can completely respect that the story and the fact that it was part of this IP, but it was a quality video game.
I mean, I'll never attack its gameplay.
Right.
It has
and
pretty much the
nobody
best
will.
gameplay out of any of the
But
games.
people
I'm not,
attack that game as a whole, and the quality
gotta
of the
attack the
gameplay
final
holds
product.
up.
At the end of the day, the final product is this is some good gameplay. Everything else ain't that great.
Can't get it open. Yeah, we're just gonna pull out. Let's not do the key one, 'cause that's all. Glad Jalen got this one.
Oh, okay.
something, you're not gonna make fun of the good parts of it, because then you're disingenuous.
And so,
This is true.
but once again, Capcom's doing the thing of the last time you saw this series, it was not like people didn't like it the last time they saw this series.
Well, yeah, but also we got the original people back. Like, remember, DMC was made by Ninja Theory.
Right.
I always get Team Ninja and Ninja Theory confused.
Yeah. Wait, was it? No, Ninja Theory is the same one that messed up Metroid Other M. That
Oh,
also-
well! Well,
Damn.
won't you look at that?
Damn, that's crazy.
It's almost like I have a vendetta.
Jalen subconsciously just hates Ninja Theory. That's
No,
why
they
he won't-
keep disappointing me. They
just
do it to
don't
me.
like Xbox now because Microsoft bought Ninja Theory.
Well, maybe they can make them good.
I don't think
They
so.
have the money for it.
I doubt it.
Money solves everything, though.
Money does something.
But yeah, so we got Resident Evil 7, which last time we saw Resident Evil in 6, people were ready to abandon the franchise. People were ready to abandon the Devil May Cry franchise after DMC Devil May Cry, and now 5 came out and is really good. People were ready to abandon Mega Man after Mega Man 9 and 10, but then Mega Man 11 somewhat. That was the least of all of these.
The thing that
but it
happened
was
with Mega
still
Man
a
is that
jump in quality.
the thing about Mega Man, though, is remember the main reason why there wasn't a Mega Man game in a long time wasn't because of the quality of 9 and 10, or even of the sub games. Like, we were still in Star Force at that time. It was because the fact that the original creator of Mega Man and Capcom had a falling out, and they were like, since Capcom still had the rights to Mega Man, they weren't making a Mega Man game out of spite. And then now that he's come and fucked up by making Mighty Number 9, now Capcom's like, they can come in, they could do it right, and
But that was the thing. It didn't even seem, unlike Resident Evil 7 and Devil May Cry 5, Mega Man 11 didn't set the world on fire. Mega Man 11.
Well, people are, in my opinion, people are past Mega Man games. That's like, there is a small niche that loves those kind of games, but people are past that.
And then also that genre, since the absence of Mega Man, has been dominated by indie games.
Right.
True.
There are like indie, quote unquote, Mega Man clones that are just better than Mega Man in every way.
Yeah.
I'd rather any day of the week sit down and play Shovel Knight, sit down and play Hollow Knight, sit down
Heck,
and
even
play.
as a platformer, people are playing Celeste and a million other things. It's
Right.
one of
Yeah.
those things like, that's more of a genre situation than a Mega Man situation.
Yeah, because Mega Man 11, it was still a good game.
We were happy to see Mega Man back.
Yeah,
Functioning.
Yeah.
functioning.
So speaking of a game being back and functioning, we talked about it last week. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 is one of the PlayStation Plus free games this month. Everybody downloaded and had trials and tribulations with that last night. But when we actually played, I was like,
Did
oh
you
yeah.
guys enjoy it?
It was next level toxic. I was enjoying.
I was just really toxic.
I was just being
Yeah.
toxic.
That's all I was doing.
People were tired and frustrated and getting toxic, and I was loving every single minute.
At one
of
point,
playing.
we're all in the same lobby. And somehow I ended up in a different
Yeah,
game.
like Jalen's sitting there arguing with Darren, and he's like, we're like, oh, it's only one other person on the other team, and
I'm like, wait, no, there are definitely multiple people here.
he's like, yeah, there are 5 people on the other team. Me and Darren are like, no, there definitely isn't. And then I look at the leaderboard on our side. I'm like, wait, Jalen, are you in our game?
Somehow I just...
Call of Duty was Call of Dutying last night, but just some of those maps, some of those guns, being back in that stage of Call of Duty, and it doesn't look like, if you went back and played Modern Warfare 1, like, legitimately right now,
It wouldn't look like that.
it wouldn't look as good as Modern Warfare Remastered looks. Like, it's not the most breathtaking AAA, like,
But
big
it's at the
budget
height of
map.
its processing power, which allows you to go back in time to, like, what, 2006?
Right, yeah. It lets you feed into that nostalgia in a way that doesn't detract from the game. And I think that's the best way a lot of games that are just remastered and up-res, like Final Fantasy 12, going back to that, just it doesn't hold up as well as just playing the up-res version of Final Fantasy 12, because they can keep some of the things that they wanted, like some of the art design decisions they made, some of the gameplay decisions they made, like keep those things in there, but just modernize them.
Yeah.
And so, Modern Warfare 1, did you download it yet, Josh?
Yes, I have it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I'm ready. I'm really ready for this because, like,
I wish I played it last night.
yeah, y'all went to bed and it
It got toxic.
I was like, Chris probably not gonna. He's not gonna make it that.
Yeah.
I understand.
I thought Jawan
I
would have
was
came
so-
back,
Overcome by the holiday of yesterday.
Yeah, you're celebrating, man.
but yeah.
Yeah, I turned it off and was like,
I knew because you took forever to turn it off. I was like, oh, Chris is just gonna turn it off and never come back. Because it was you and me just chilling there. I'm like, oh, you must have it done because I had it on my
I was
system.
fooled like
before.
everybody else. It was like the game was downloaded and then it was
Yeah.
like, you gotta wait until this is downloaded. I'm like, why?
Why tell me I can download just the multiplayer? When you
Right.
tell me the multiplayer won't work unless everything is downloaded.
Right. What do you care about more? Multiplayer. Well, you can't play until single player. Damn it.
Why?
Why? Why'd you give me
Why
the
even
option?
give me
Just
the
download
option?
the game.
Right, download the whole thing.
Don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Just
Also,
be
just
upfront.
multiplayer is 25 gigabytes? Damn.
Yeah, no, that's not surprising in the least. Like, I had to download a Rainbow Six Siege patch today that was 34 gigs.
Gee.
I don't even play that. I was like, I paused it and I'm like, okay, should I just delete Rainbow Six Siege off my console?
Speaking of deleting things
Wait.
off your console,
Did you delete off your console Overwatch?
Seriously?
Okay.
I took it out of the
The loop?
system, put it in this case, and I was like, although we've come, tucked it away, and washed my hands of it. I mean, when Baptiste comes out, I'm gonna re-download it digitally, but the disc is never going in my console again, and it's sad.
Is it sad though?
Is it?
Not really.
So we were discussing the other day what would make Overwatch a successful game again because it's
New
losing its player
activations.
base. It's
I mean,
like
Be fun.
I was thinking about this the other day. It's like, its meta shifts too slow. Like, we've been in some has the meta really changed since the meta didn't change when they dropped Ashe. The meta didn't change when they dropped Hammond.
well, they enabled snipers. So that's the one thing when Ashe came out, snipers had more of a place.
I'll put it like this, on console, and then especially like in the low tiers, is a completely different game.
I mean, yeah, it's just like 6 DPS.
Yeah, everything everywhere else is goats, and then like you try and like load into a lobby and it's just the shittiest game possible because nobody's running support and nobody's running tank.
That sounds terrible.
That sounds terrible, right?
Yeah,
And
I
then-
mean,
and then if you try to
Overwatch
play,
in general right now is not. It's just not in a good state.
I miss when it was like 3 tanks, 2 healers. That was a fun meta.
oh, triple tank.
Yeah, triple tank.
I miss Dive. Like, I
Yeah.
really miss Dive. I miss when DPS characters were popping off. That was hype as shit.
Isn't
I
that
miss the Nano Blades. I miss the
See,
Beyblades.
Yeah, like this new patch that they're working on in PTR, it seems promising, but you never know. It's not gonna play that way.
I don't know.
on
It's like this is a
console.
game. It's weird. It feels like Overwatch doesn't have enough damage. Like I said, it's weird. Just because it's like the sheer amount of healing that's coming out. Like,
Yeah, healers and tanks are too good. And nobody plays them.
Yeah.
Not on console. This shit sucks.
not on low tier console.
I mean,
And
that's
like quick plays like that too, so it's like damn, I can't
And
get a
quick
good
plays.
match. I can't get
Quick
a good
play is
match
like
anywhere.
automatically a shit show.
Yeah.
Just to be
Yeah.
honest.
Yeah,
But I don't hate it because it's quick play. Who cares about quick play?
That's true.
exactly.
But you still like to win on quick play.
I mean,
right.
yeah.
So
No, now you just like to
Overwatch-
throw.
Overwatch being like in the state that Overwatch is currently in has removed something that we used to consistently have on the podcast, which was a video game hangout spot. We hung out in Monster Hunter, we hung out in Overwatch, we hung out in Destiny, we hung out. There were just all these games that you'd hear about a lot on the podcast, and now everybody's just kind of all over everything, scattered to the wind, and there's no, like even Apex. The problem with Apex is
It's only threes.
right. It's
Yeah.
trios, and then if we have 6 people, that's a game where you're talking more about the game than just talking. Like Destiny, you could run through a whole strike and not talk about the game whatsoever. and be fine.
Mhm.
And Apex just isn't a good facilitator of that kind of gameplay. But Destiny 2 is getting some significant updates that I
God.
think might bring all of us back to Destiny. Because at this point,
Joker's
I downloaded
wild.
everything.
right, there's bounties to get your light level up, so
Yeah,
we don't have to
there are gambit
grind
bounties to
to
help you
get
get
caught
to
up.
540.
Nice.
So we have bounties that can get us to current power levels without significant grinding, and then Gambit Prime looks really good,
Reckoning looks cool too.
and we have multiple raids now that just we haven't touched because Destiny
640.
Destiny's just dropped.
640.
Oh,
Right.
so yeah, Destiny's just been dropping content, and all of us pretty
Yeah,
much have stayed
the way
away.
Destiny has been is that it's pretty much something. It was pretty much something new every single week for the first month and a half.
Yeah.
Like some of the new exotics are cool. There's
Yeah.
a new Stormcaller exotic called the Getaway Artist, and it summons a mobile turret because everyone needs a getaway driver.
Mhm.
Oh shit.
And the new Gambit animation for when the Drifter picks what enemy you're fighting is dope.
Gambit Prime just in general looks.
Yeah,
It's
like,
the
it looks
sweatiest.
crazy.
It's I'm gonna be real. It's the sweatiest.
is
It's
there
only
still
one
regular
round.
Gambit?
It's
Well, no, I'm asking.
it's still it's regular Gambit. It's one round, so it's disgustingly sweaty.
But did they get rid of 3 round regular Gambit?
No,
Okay.
Gambit Prime is only a round and it's hella sweaty. There's
Okay.
still regular Gambit.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, I mean, we did have a lot of fun with Gambit. I'm thinking
Mhm.
there's not really anything. Did you guys like what you played in the Division when you played that?
It got better the more we played it, but
It was one of those once we got out of the tutorial, and they started giving us those motherfuckers with giant backpacks. Things became fun.
Okay.
am I gonna get it?
I mean,
Possibly.
Sekiro, it's competing directly with Devil May Cry 5 and
Yeah.
Sekiro
Devil May
for
Cry's already got
time.
my money.
And my MMO,
Yeah, Devil May Cry
and my
has
needs
my
for an
money.
MMO have just spiked, so I'm probably gonna be back on 14.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going on.
I'm thinking of waiting for the expansion, getting the collector's edition of the expansion for 14, doing that level boost because they'll give me the level boost, and then doing the new content in 14 with you guys so I can do the Nier content. The Nier, like, I watched the full video where they revealed the Nier stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 has been.
And also, you still haven't done the Monster Hunter raid either. You haven't fought the
Yeah,
Monster
but if I do the power boost to get to the Nier stuff, then I can go back and do the Monster Hunter stuff.
I
can go
I
back
feel
and
like
do
you're
the-
underestimating how far the boost gets you.
Yeah.
I'm underestimating or I'm overestimating?
Overestimating. Overestimating.
So the boost, it's not like Destiny, because I mean, all
Well,
my
see, that's the thing
MMOs
about it. It's with Final Fantasy 14, where they measure the progress of your characters not just through levels, but also through how far the main story you're in.
Mhm.
But
So-
won't the main story be significantly easier? I doubt.
No, with the level boost, it will get you up to beginning of.
Shadowbringers. It should if I'm
Okay,
getting
Shadowbringers.
Shadowbringers.
Yeah, but so you'll get up to Shadowbringers, but then you still got to do the content up to the level cap for you to do the Nier raid.
Right, and I mean I'll do that because you guys, it won't be me starting from the beginning of a Realm Reborn, playing through all of that, which I know is an extreme grind, then playing through all of whatever.
It's not as bad. I'm gonna be real with you. It's not. I'm redoing it. It's not as bad as it used to be. Telling you that right now.
Okay,
And
because you
can
guys
spend
have
more time
always
just in-
made it seem like.
No, it used. It used to be past tense. It used to be something else, but
Yeah, if you streamline and do just the story.
yeah, like do a couple. Like go into an area, do the side quests you can do along with the main scenario. The main scenario is dope. Like
Yeah,
I'm just gonna be real with you.
That's why I was gonna do the power boost, but I was also gonna do a character that I could go back and do this stuff. But my primary character will be the character that I boost up for Shadowbringers, and I will
wonder-
play.
Well, the thing about the characters is that one of the big things about it is you don't need a second character to change your class. So I wonder if you could just go back and do the main scenario quest as a different class. I'll have to see how the
Yeah,
level boost
you'd have to
actually
let
works
me
out
know on
using-
that one. But that sounds cool. That sounds like a great way to like diversify my character and like have different
Oh yeah, like
ways of approaching that.
like for example,
Final
if you want to play a
Fantasy
ninja today,
14
play a ninja. If you want to play a monk, just switch your weapon.
if Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 14 were just like and I know it somewhat is this, if it were like a co-op action RPG, I would be a lot more down. Like there's a lot of the MMO stuff that bogs it down for me, but honestly, the side content, the crossovers, the collaborations, like all this
The
stuff,
outfits, all
Yeah.
them outfits.
I I may get into that, but you know, I'll find something that's just Japanese, like feudal Japan aesthetic, and I'll stick with that forever.
So
I'll
samurai.
yeah, I was about to say I'll probably play a samurai. Or
yeah,
an
but you have to get up to Stormblood content to play samurai.
But if
It's
I
like one of the
skip
basic-
to Shadowbringers content,
But isn't that the thing with like if you want to equip multiple like classes, don't you have to do all those job missions to
I
unlock
mean,
them?
yes and no. It's like it's so I started Arcanist because I wanted to play Scholar. When I felt like switching to get Scholar, my job class, I needed 15 levels of Conjurer, which turns into White Mage. I just went down to the Conjurer trainer, got my weapon, and switched to Conjurer. So whenever I need to switch back into Arcanist, I just switch my weapon.
alright, so I really need to like get a PC soon. Cause I just checked, cause one thing that would help would be, with me getting into Final Fantasy 14, would me being able to play it on my laptop, and it's just not available for Mac at all. So,
Like most
Shame.
games.
huh?
Like most games.
I mean, there are enough. Listen,
Is
I
Overwatch
have
one of them?
I have 69 games in my Steam library, which means I may never download a game in Steam ever again.
You shouldn't.
But 50 of them are Mac compatible, which means most, just off of this sample of games, most Steam games are Mac compatible.
That's fair.
That's like a 5 out of 7 games. So, I'll take those odds for Mac compatibility on Steam.
I don't know, but if I get back into Final Fantasy, I'm gonna do it the old-fashioned way.
Like what?
What's the old-fashioned way?
Grind my way up from the story.
Hey.
Oh,
Oh,
I
you
mean,
wanna
that main
do you
scenario
wanna
is
do that?
dope.
I feel like going through.
already started.
I don't want to do the level jump.
The only thing, like, I don't remember if I actually made a character on y'all's server.
That's the main thing we gotta solve.
That's
with
the
this
that's,
Yeah,
the,
we gotta
that's the
figure
only
out
thing
what
that's a
server we're
bitch.
gonna
Like
play
the
on.
character I got the most time in, I slick don't want to do that shit again.
If y'all can get on Bahamut, that would do me some real good if y'all can manage to
I
get
thought you were on
Bahamut.
Isn't that-
Gilgamesh.
Yeah, I'm on.
No. His character's on Gilgamesh. My highest character is on Bahamut.
Okay, apparently you can play a samurai before you reach Stormblood. You just need to own the expansion. So
Oh,
I own Stormblood.
Yeah, I have up to Stormblood too.
Cool. I didn't know that. I'm
But don't you have
mostly
to have
play
like the
healers.
precursor to be able to get
Fucking
to
red mage. What up?
samurai? Like, so once you have
Well,
to,
that's the thing about it. After when 14 started adding new classes,
what you using over there, Chris?
Shut up. It's a little measurer.
It's like the thing the doctor like slaps you on the knee with.
Right. Yeah, it is.
anyway, so when they started adding new classes, when Heavensward came out, they said screw the class thing. You just get the job.
Oh.
So when you get samurai, you get samurai.
Okay. I just realized 14's on my console. Instead of going back to Destiny 2, which I'm not opposed to because we could go back to Destiny. I've paid for the Destiny 2 content that's coming out that I haven't just
That's out.
huh?
Joker's Wild's out.
Yeah, well, even stuff that's coming out until this fall, I've already paid for all this content
Yeah,
that
all the
I'm
way to
just
Season
not
of
playing.
Shadow.
So instead of going back to Destiny 2, are we gonna go to Final Fantasy 14?
Why not do both?
No.
I'm
We're
probably
not
gonna
gonna.
do
I don't
Final
see
Fantasy.
us sticking with it simply because that early hurdle of the fact that we're all going to be starting in different cities.
Yeah.
That's the thing about it.
But
and I'm
once
gonna have to pay monthly, so I'm like, if I'm gonna play it, I want to play that.
right,
shit.
That's true.
that is the thing about it being the hangout spot and all of us collectively going to the game. Because if we all are collectively paying to play the game, that's gonna have more motivation. Whereas Destiny, I paid for that stuff, and it's just there.
But then we also
And
have to
we'll
be in
continue to-
Discord.
What, we can't use a PSN party if we're all playing.
I'm playing on PC.
I mean,
I'm
I guess
playing
we
on
could.
PC.
I mean, we could do. I don't care.
I mean,
Like,
Discord
when,
would be the easiest.
when we do Discord on consoles, I'll have my headset on one side for game audio and my AirPods on the other side for Discord audio. So like, I never really have a. You guys are acting like I have an issue with using Discord. The only time I have an issue using it is when I'm streaming, and I'd like for there to be party audio so it doesn't seem like I'm talking to myself. But
That's true.
We know you don't have any friends. They know
Madrid
Just fades out of
cut-
existence.
Madrid just cuts his audio on PSN forever.
basically.
But yeah, I need Shadowbringers to come out. I want that new tank class. I want my gunblade.
What, like, Samurai's like a DPS?
Yeah.
I'll make it work. I kind of want a tank.
Just
like,
play paladin.
Yeah,
just
I kind of
play
want a
Paladin.
paladin things.
Might as well be a Dark Knight.
I mean,
Dark Knight's okay.
And ninjas.
DPS.
Rogue. Like.
Rogue becomes ninja.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I got one of those characters cooking on the side too.
Oh yeah, I got my ninja cooking. I got my monk cooking, but I mostly play healers.
I'm probably just gonna default to archer.
Archer's
Bard
actually
playing
super
motherfucker.
dope.
Speaking of that, once you get far enough in Bard that once you get into Bard and you unlock the keyboard, you might as well just learn how to play like random ass songs.
Can you plug in a MIDI keyboard and play the keyboard in Final Fantasy?
Yes.
Josh, you trying to
Fucking
play?
this-
You're trying to play some Final
I've
Fantasy?
never heard of anything
You
like
have
that.
people playing
Yeah,
like
you
Song
can.
of Storms on the Bard keyboard and all that stuff.
So you just plug it into the console?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about using it on
Nice.
console.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure on console.
On console, I don't
keyboard?
know.
No, well, a MIDI keyboard, not like a keyboard, like a
Bluetooth?
No, like a piano that you
yeah,
can play.
Oh.
a piano
Yeah.
keyboard.
Oh, okay. That'd be kind of
If you plug, cause I have a MIDI keyboard, he has a MIDI keyboard. If you could play a music-based class by plugging in a literal piano and playing music on that piano, I could see Josh like just going hard.
Fucking it up.
It could be pretty him. It could be pretty him.
Why is this guy so god tier?
Josh just out there.
I just might have a good time.
Maps all of its buttons to the keyboard.
Hey,
Yeah.
BZ430 would like to remind us, March 28th, Resident Evil 2 release.
It's going down.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris, are you ready?
If BG were watching from the jump, he would have seen
Yeah.
all the promotion for the stream. But we'll promote
I'm
it
ready.
again.
I won't tell him my times right now, but I'm ready.
It's faster than yours. That's all you need to know.
Right.
Chef and Chris, you ready to grill ya?
We were going to change his name to Stolen Vinyl the other day, and we still
Someone
might.
said something at press start. and
Stolen Drums was
Yeah,
at
and I
press
was
start,
like,
and
did you
people
say
were looking
stolen
for it.
vinyl? And he was like, nah, stolen drums. I was like, that'd be kind of cool ass name, stolen vinyl. I like that.
So instead of Chef and Chris, we might be dealing with Stolen Vinyl for a while, which I'm not against.
Yeah.
So speaking of stealing, Nintendo out of nowhere, right before this recording, announced that they're doing a Labo VR kit, which looks like the most blatant ripoff of Google Cardboard I've ever seen in my entire life.
Wait, Labo in itself.
Well, look, Google Cardboard was specifically for VR.
I know,
like,
but I'm just saying.
Yeah, Labo's been cardboard
The
since
cardboard
day
I'm
one.
just saying.
But the interesting thing about this is it just seems to be for Labo applications. So for now. And I'm sure anything that's functioning in VR that's on YouTube, YouTube will find a way to make it work, because even YouTube VR, it doesn't work the best with PlayStation VR, but it works.
Yeah.
So Nintendo is putting out there's a starter kit that's $40, and then there is a full set that comes with 5 different cardboard designs and all these things that are designed for different mini games for $80, which is kind of steep, but Labo is always kind of unnecessarily
Look, that thing that
expensive.
guy has on the cover of the box is just killing me right now.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like a gun fucker. Yeah.
It's like a gun face fucker.
And
Telescope.
the other ones aren't much better.
Yeah,
Does
I
anybody
would love
still
to
use
experience
Labo? Is
VR
that
by
still a
putting my
thing?
face in a
Huh?
cardboard
Is Labo
bird's
still a big
ass.
thing?
I mean, Labo knew its target audience and captured its target audience, and the first wave of Labo was for like, okay, people who don't really know. Like the variety kit that I got was to see like, okay, is this something I'm actually going to care about or not? And I still kind of want to build the piano. For me, it's just
Look, it's for small children.
yeah,
that's
it's
just
designed
what
for
it is.
kids,
That's cool.
and so
It's fun, family fun.
Yeah.
yeah,
The
and
Nintendo
It's
product.
like the parents set up the cardboard shit. The kids watch. They might
Right.
help.
Cardboard sounds like a terrible,
Well,
terrible
That shit would get
material
destroyed.
to use.
It would get destroyed in my house instantly.
Right.
the
Kids
interesting
don't
thing
know how
about
to-
Labo is the cardboard is just for like. So the reason I bought the original Labo kit, cardboard is just kind of the thing they give you in the box, but you could 3D print all these things and make them
Oh
work.
shit!
You can
I just
make
pulled
them.
that off on my 3D printer.
I mean, there are people with 3D printers. There are like readily accessible, inexpensive ways to get stuff that are 3D printed.
For
Heck,
somebody.
you can get a 3D printer for less than 500.
Oh.
Less than 500. I can't say much.
Well, let's put it this way: you can get a 3D printer for less than a Ryzen 9.
You can get a 3D printer for less than the going rate for a GPU nowadays.
So, like, it's 3D printing, and the reason I got the Toy-Con 1, the variety kit, was because there's a programming language in the Switch now, and the only way they, like, get to it is Labo. And then you can make your own peripherals and design your own games all the way in Labo that you can say, there's a whole community to the side of this that is outside of small children making things with cardboard, that is designers, that is coders.
Look, you could literally use Labo to teach kids how to program.
Right.
That's
Like
cool.
it's literally a robotics kit built in for your Switch.
That's cool.
Right.
How to make STEM fun.
And I mean, they made STEM fun for us by adding Legos. They are making STEM fun now for kids by adding Nintendo. Like, they're. Yeah. they're cardboard. I mean, the cardboard is some super quality cardboard. I'll give them that.
Good
That is,
cardboard.
that is top tier cardboard. I don't think I have anything else that's made of cardboard. Even my Google cardboard that is as quality cardboard
that
as the
premium
cardboard
cardboard.
they put in the Labo sets. You guys talk about while I fix this, Apex Legends, they nerfed the Wingman and the Peacekeeper.
How dare they?
And
See, I
there was the
understand.
data mine.
I understand about the Peacekeeper because I've
Peace-
seen the PC
That shit is one. That shit one shots. Like,
and it's a
with the
from,
mod charged
from
up?
longer range than a triple take. Like
Yeah. I got.
Yeah, I can
I'm
see
like,
that.
how did that knock me? They were over there.
I can't see that
I don't
they
even
were
know
all the
what
way over
character
there.
that was. That's how far they were fucking away. Like, I had purple shield. I'm down. That doesn't make sense.
So I'm totally okay with that.
With a piece of, I'm okay with that.
I don't
But the wingman,
That is a tight.
the wingman.
Why you gotta do that?
See, the wingman can get nerfs. I'm more hurt by the Peacekeeper because it's also, how should I say, hella inefficient, hella inconsistent.
That's
I had
true.
to up my sensitivity in that game because
You have to.
really
Yeah,
there were
I do
times
too.
where I'm with the Peacekeeper and I'm leading the shot, like I'm trying to line up my shot perfectly, and any other game that shot would have been lined up. In Apex it was just short and just not accurate enough, and it's especially highlighted because a lot of the guns I'll use are automatic. So like the Prowler, it has its arc, the Lifeline, it has its ballistics. Flatline? Lifeline.
Lifeline, that's big.
Flatline.
Lifeline has bars.
Lifeline does have bars.
Have I missed something?
Wait, you didn't see the rap video?
No, I didn't see the rap
Someone
video.
took
Was
out
it in the
Lifeline's voice
Discord?
lines.
It's in the
Yes.
Discord.
Ah,
Join
shit.
our Discord.
Join our Discord. They took Lifeline's voice lines and made a rap song.
Oh.
When
So-
she kills you with the Mozambique.
She must be a YouTuber.
Like a
and subscribe
YouTuber,
on
we're
YouTube.
we're ready for these attack gems, Capcom. If you're if you're listening, we became YouTubers
Yeah, we'll
just
make a
for
Monster
your
Hunter
attack
video.
gems. We will make a Monster Hunter. Why are we excited for Shadowbringers? Because we'll be getting attack gems because we're YouTubers now. I said Shadowbringers, I meant Ice.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like,
Yeah, I was
we don't use tech gyms in that.
Are you
You
sure?
just gotta know your rotation.
Yeah.
In that game, I'll actually be able to beat Behemoth and Rathalos.
Behemoth is a mount in that game.
There's no
Behemoth
Behemoth
carries me
boss.
around.
There's no Behemoth boss that I can ride Behemoth to fight Behemoth.
Not that I.
This is the
know
kind of bullshit that I like MMOs for. Like I want to like ride a rainbow. There's a rainbow unicorn gun skin in Modern Warfare 1 remastered, and I slick want it. Like I want anything, and MMOs are always the best with these kind of stupid cosmetics that I just
There's a
deeply
new
love.
fat cat mount in 14. The fat chocobo. The
Yeah,
fat chocobo's a classic.
I saw that.
There's a fat
Is
The
there a-
fat chocobo.
Yeah.
Is there a Chungus one yet?
A chungus. I mean, that technically would be the fat chocobo. That chocobo's a big boy. It's like, oh lord.
He's a chunker.
Like normally you would have like a carrot on a stick for a regular chocobo. You have like a giant cabbage for this big boy.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into this game with you and with Madrid because Madrid is such a big Final Fantasy fan and you're just such an MMO player.
And
Now
also I've dedicated a lot of time to 14. I'll check my original character because I
The
have
Venn
a
diagram
comfortable
is
amount of
there.
time in that game.
right, the Venn diagram's there for me to get in there and have fun. And I mean the time slots, like there are times where I can play with Jalen and there are times I can play with you. And I'm excited to play something with Chris other than Rocket League.
I played with Apex with you.
Have we?
No, every time I try to play Apex and you're on, you're like, nah, I'm playing Fortnite. I don't
Well, no.
do that.
The thing was, I had played 3 hours of solid Apex at that point, and I just wanted to check my dailies on Fortnite. And everybody's like, "Oh, Anton over here abandoning." No, I just needed to get my dailies.
Okay, first things first. No one was acting like you were abandoning us because we were all taking a break for the fact that we played Apex for 3 hours.
Right, 3 hours. I
Alright.
literally went to pee
See, but
mid-match
really,
because we
what
never
we're making
stopped
fun
playing.
of you is the fact that you asked me to play Fortnite.
Well, I got who did that? You did the one game with a friend with me.
I did it.
Oh,
Oh,
thanks, Chris.
I was gonna say yesterday. I was like, I don't know. I'm battle royale out because like the end of those
wanna play
Apex matches
something.
last night were
Yeah,
so
the end of the
shitty.
Apex matches were literally like we should have stopped like a solid 5 games before we did, but we kept playing because it was just like, well, we're streaming.
Anime opening.
Yeah, anime openings is what really fueled the end of that.
Yeah.
It started
Oh yeah,
off.
I was playing Hello Rocket.
Like I was uploading the YouTube video.
We went to
mid-match.
System of a Down. You really
I
missed
missed
out.
System of a Down.
Yeah,
We went
Modern
to
Warfare and
Modern
System of a Down
Warfare
was
1
hitting different.
With
Yeah.
System of a Down with just
That
like
would've
a god tier combo. We were.
Man,
It was like
16-year-old me would have been like, fuck it, it's
Look,
mine.
next
No,
time we do
tonight-
that,
This is my
play
final
Cigarro.
form.
I played the entire album of Toxicity
I don't
front
think
to back.
Cigarro was on Toxicity.
Yeah, I know.
It
But
wasn't.
I'm
Cigarro
It was
just,
on
on-
Aerials or
Yeah.
Hypnotize.
Aerials is a
Aerials.
song on
No.
Toxicity.
No, Ariel's isn't on Toxicity. Is it?
I listened to Toxicity all the way
Was
through
Hypnotize a
last
song and an
night.
album?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm like,
Yeah,
I definitely
Hypnotize.
know Hypnotize.
Hypnotized,
It was.
yeah.
I know that Aerials is a song on.
Chop Suey? That's that jam.
Look,
Chop
Cigarro
Suey
is-
came on last night. We was just like, yeah.
Look, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
System of Down peaked its ignorance with Cigarro, though.
It did.
Like, that's the most.
Well, no, there was jump. So Hypnotize was before Toxicity, and on Hypnotize they had Cigarro, but then they had Jump, the song entirely about a pogo stick.
That
On Toxicity.
We're
We're playing, we're shooting people, and jump, bounce, up, down. So that's always fun.
So yeah, Modern
I mean, I'll be able to do it tonight. Today's my anniversary, which is why I've been MIA all day.
That's fair.
Real.
So after this, I'm probably gonna go get.
Do you know what today is?
Hump day. Every podcast is a hump day.
Every podcast, the hump day.
Ah, I see what you did there.
So Anthem. At first, this is like the first thing that came up in the notes, and the first thing that was recommended to talk about. But Anthem banned the one player, the one streamer, probably their top supporter, the same way Fallout 76 did, banned them for using not hacking the game, not glitching the game, not using any exploits, just using an ability over and over again. That people eventually turned into a farming method, but they banned one of their top supporters and one of the top influencers in their corner. And I don't understand what it is with these poor quality games. That, I mean, I'm not hating on anybody playing Anthem. I'm not hating on anybody who enjoyed Fallout 76.
Dog, they wouldn't
Heck,
even shoot
someone has
themselves in the
to.
foot.
I mean, they get their fair share of hate.
Look,
I guarantee.
Look, if you're playing something and you enjoy it, you're winning.
Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
And so, but the thing is,
Until
if
you
you're
get
playing
banned
a
by the
thing,
company.
right? Yeah, it's all fun and games until you get the ban hammer comes down and
So wait,
ruins your day.
Maybe they were just
Why?
confused. They're like, this can't be real. Like,
Well,
you have to be cheating.
I don't
You
have
can't
the
be enjoying
details.
this.
We have the videos in the Discord if anybody's like super interested in diving into this story. But we have the YouTuber that was one of the first people to beat the Riven raid in Destiny 2 had they were streaming Anthem. They were a big proponent of Anthem
Because
because
that game looked tight.
right. And so a lot of people, even Destiny people who were on YouTube, covered Destiny through the good and through the bad. So like if that game when now Destiny what it is where it has its own community and it has a following and people will watch YouTube videos, a lot of the successful YouTubers on any game started before the game came out and dealt with it through trials and tribulations. And this guy's trying to stuck with the game when it came out, is playing through the game, and is now dealing with issues of being banned. They've since lifted the ban on his account, but he says he's not going back to the game because why, if I'm literally streaming to an audience of people who are watching me because I'm good at this genre of game, and you ban my account, why would I advertise for you guys anymore? You know, that's one thing about YouTubing and streaming and the influencer culture we're in general is a lot of it is just look. Me and Madrid had free advertisement for Atlas, Persona 5, Arc System Works, like a
That
lot of things.
prosumer lifestyle.
Right. And a lot of companies just see an influencer and try and use that to their advantage because there are a lot of advantages to working with streamers, to working with influencers, to working with games media. What happened? Jim was watching you?
Oh, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it. I was like,
When the server, we see the waiter bringing your food. So
This is why you need to watch the Twitch streams. You wouldn't see the contents of Madrid's Twitter any other way.
what's up, the last stop? They don't want this game to succeed.
Yeah, I feel like we were talking about this last week as well, that EA is standing in the way of BioWare still existing in the next 5
EA
years.
stands in the way of all their stuff. Remember, their most successful anything, since Dragon Age Inquisition was Apex, which is the thing that had the least to do with.
Yeah.
True.
They put their name on a group project.
They got
They did.
they
got the grade for it.
closed.
Hey,
Black
their
Ops.
stock went from $13. Apex goes up. It goes directly up to 93.
Oh shit, that's wow.
That's a missed investment.
Fuck.
It is.
I-
It-
we call it that
100% missed.
it's 100%. I feel bad.
But then own stock in EA, and then we know
No.
how quickly that could.
You buy it for $13, it goes up to 93. Sell it immediately.
See, but you have to find someone to sell to buy it though.
That's true. That's what.
And anyone who was watching EA is like, yeah, I'll just wait until the hype around Apex dies and they fumble another bag and. You know.
I don't know. This battle pass, this new character that got data mined.
See, the real thing
They're doing
about
the
it
right
is,
things.
I want to see what happens with Inquisition. Not Inquisition.
Dragon
White Wolf,
Age?
the next Dragon Age game,
Do you?
the Dread Wolf.
I still
That's what it is.
have the
The Black
feeling
Wolf.
that that game may never come out. Especially now seeing the longer reception to Anthem and seeing people, even people who are playing it and supporting the game, not.
I mean, there's only like 3
BioWare
in-game
is dead.
activities.
BioWare, I feel like, is not gonna make it much longer. And I mean, it's somewhat fair. Like EA did stand in the way of this game in a lot of different respects, but BioWare and they probably rushed Anthem out the door the same way they rushed everything else out the door.
I mean, it was probably because they were trying to make it something else, it didn't work, and then they made it something else, and it didn't work, and then they made it something else, and then they had to sell it. So that's pretty much what happened with Andromeda.
Yeah,
Andromeda was supposed to be like 3 different things.
but I mean, EA just seems to be. That's the thing. EA has the marketing budget to put it behind it because we've had games. We Happy Few, one of Chris's backlog award winners, was.
Trash.
It was a game that was one thing, was another thing, was one thing, was another thing, then became another thing, and then they had to sell it. But the fact that it wasn't shoved down our throats, the fact that every time I was watching Hulu, every single ad break has an Anthem ad in it.
Yeah.
Like there were a lot of the things. That's one of the things with targeting a mainstream audience with the game. If you are selling this game to the dude pros who are playing Madden and Call of Duty every year, and they just want another something to play in between those games, like if you're, there were people who were asking me about this game, who just like aren't gamers.
Yeah.
They play certain games, but they don't identify as a gamer. They own a console, but they don't see themselves as gamers. They play certain games, and these people are asking me about Anthem, and the fact that some people, even like Zach, who friend of the podcast, who seems to have the most investment, and I've talked to the most about Anthem, has significant problems with that game that may or may not be easily fixed, but it's not like Destiny where the hardcore of Destiny, they acknowledge that there was a lack of content, but
the
they
shooting was so good.
right. And
Yeah.
Anthem, the shooting isn't the main mechanic of a shooter. That's another major problem that I've realized by talking to people
Not just that,
actually
but also
playing the
the main
game.
mechanic is flying, but they really didn't do that much with it. You can, but
But that's it.
Right. And I mean, the flying, it feels good for a minute, but it doesn't feel as consistently good as Destiny's shooting has felt since the dawn of the franchise.
but also sliding in shooters is the greatest thing ever. I'm just
Apex
True.
Legends.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a good slide, go play some Apex.
Dog, I wanted to slide so bad in Modern Warfare last night.
You're telling me. I was like, wait, where's
It's
my
like,
slide?
you get hard crouch. I'm like, what does that do? You get shot one time, you die. I'm like, why did y'all play this? This is
Oh
stupid.
yeah, man! There was a match
Toxic.
where we got like they doubled our score.
They camped
They
us
were
that
they were
bad?
spawn
They were
camping.
camping.
No, I mean like spawn
We
camping. As in
literally
you would spawn and there would be
and
someone
die.
with their iron sights already on your head. You'd
Yeah.
spawn, die, and you keep watching kill
And guess
cam.
what?
Like,
Yeah,
he was already watching that
Y'all like
spawn.
that?
After that, you
I
get
came
spawned
out with
into
the
an
noob
airstrike.
tube ready. Yeah, there was the airstrikes and helicopters, and I
Helicopters.
like noob tubes, like all the. I was out there murdering with the AK-47
I'm gonna be
with
real
the
with you.
underbarrel.
Gunfuck.
I'd rather be unequipped on the loot ship in Apex than deal with half of the crap I had to deal with in Modern Warfare last night.
Because at least with that, you get
I
these right
thoroughly
here.
enjoyed myself.
No, I'm not saying I didn't have fun. I'm just
I mean,
saying
Modern Warfare
gaming has
is
come a
Modern
long way.
Warfare.
Right, it's Modern Warfare. So if you want if you want that,
I never
You
experienced it, so I had to go.
if Modern Warfare 2, because they've delayed, there were the rumors of Modern Warfare 2 coming out a long time ago, and the rumors this is almost a year ago at this point, that the rumors were that this game would come out and it wouldn't have multiplayer, and now there are rumors swirling about a Modern Warfare 2 remastered again. But I feel like there's been enough time that they saw the reception of people being like, if it doesn't have multiplayer, I won't buy it.
I mean, yeah, but the
Right.
thing about Call of Duty is, yes, the plot of Modern Warfare 1 and 2 were great, but it's like, we came here for the multiplayer, dog.
Exactly.
I came here to shoot my friends and to get shot and be very toxic to people online.
Yeah. Ooh, we could do custom matches too.
Mhm.
Nah, I don't want to get back.
Nah, not
Right,
not
if
to
I
us,
want to
not
play
each
some
other.
serious custom matches, I'll just get the Master Chief Collection on my Xbox. That, like, Halo custom games were...
Okay, Halo custom games are fire.
They were fire.
I think I prefer Halo multiplayer.
Yeah.
To Call of Duty multiplayer?
I could go either way.
No.
I played both of them enough to where I thoroughly enjoyed both.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed both of them. Halo Reach would be my peak in Halo multiplayer, but honestly, I feel like the
Like
strong
that overshield.
Halo 3 gives you that little with the BR.
Yeah.
all the way, motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean,
BR
Halo.
sticky grenades.
Yeah.
All I need is my
Pistols.
stickies. That's all I really need are stickies.
I mean,
It was
yeah.
such a good grenade.
Reach had a lot of the things 3 had, plus improvements.
Yeah.
And then four's custom games were probably the strongest custom games, just because they put a lot of effort into their tools for making custom games in Halo 4. And they added a bunch of weapons. The weapons weren't that great for actual multiplayer or actual single player,
Yeah.
but
When you're goofing off,
They're there.
I mean, shit. Halo 5's multiplayer is what got me back into like playing online shooters again. Yeah, I know, right?
wow. I'm
Right.
impressed.
I know. It was
At least Halo 5
dark
did
times.
something.
I was on my roommate's Xbox.
Oh, that explains.
I bought Halo for. I'm like, bro, I like Halo this much, and then I played it. I was like, oh god,
No.
I'm gonna try the
Why'd
multiplayer.
you mask her from a boy?
alright. So, does anybody have any other things? We've been going for about a solid hour now. Anybody got that one more thing they want to add to the...
Finished Red Dead.
You finished Red Dead?
Josh,
Okay.
give us
Oh,
your.
Give us some Red Dead, because now you got like a solid chunk of time before we hit that cap. Give us your Red Dead review.
So, majority of the Red Dead review is just giving props to Rockstar in general because this game is really just the best of what they do.
Take a shot of whiskey.
Just like I gotta drive home. Red Dead didn't touch me like that.
So, yeah, it really is the best thing. It's like all the best things that all of the other Grand Theft Autos, all the other Bullies, all the other Red Dead Revolvers, all of their games. This is the best of everything that they do. Like,
Except for car driving.
except for car driving because there's literally no cars yet. So
Yet.
I mean,
I was like,
you got them.
wait, they made
carriers.
Midnight.
Hey, give me that OG Ford. Come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
there you
Give
go.
me
Pull up in that
Model
cold engine.
So from the very beginning, I was immediately impressed. Like I fell in love with this game from the very first mission, like the very first cutscene. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted this game to be. From the just I love the how cinematic it was, and it just never stopped. It just never stopped. The entire game is just one long Western classic. Like if you're really into like the old Clint Eastwoods, probably not the John Waynes, but like the actually good. You know, actually.
You got some Shane in there? Some 310 to Yuma?
Yeah,
True Grit?
yeah. A little bit of all the best ofs. If you really appreciate those movies, then this is the game, 100%, that you would enjoy all the way through and through. I started off really just going into detail of it. Like I wouldn't really focus on like the actual missions. I really wanted to get onto the small little things.
Right.
Like
yeah.
all the side missions. I'll spend at least 30 minutes every session picking flowers, hunting, just doing the small little. I honestly,
That,
there was a
damn,
point.
was that a dandelion?
Really, all like there was a point. Like once I figured out how to get perfect pelts, like it was like, all right, every time I play, it's just
How
like
do you get perfect though?
perfect pelts. You have to.
Bow and arrow?
No, I mean, yeah, it'll be better if you use a bow and arrow depending on the animal.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're using when you're aiming on it, it after you, I guess like after you study it, you'll see like the 3 stars. You'll see 3 stars for the perfect pelt, 2 stars for a good pelt, and then 1 and then 0 stars for like the less than. So once I figured out like, oh, if you aim on it and there's 3 stars, that's a perfect pelt, and you got a headshot. I mean, different animals have different things.
I was gonna ask, can you actually headshot a bear? Because bears'
Headshot a
heads
bear?
skulls are like dumb thick.
No,
You can't do that in real
no,
life.
you can't headshot a bear.
Oh, okay.
Trust me, I've you get your chance. You get your chance.
Okay.
Also cougars are kind of tough.
Oh, we know.
Oh,
we know.
I got mauled by a cougar.
Yo, that
Who's
mission,
gonna be bait? All of a sudden, your gets eaten by a mountain lion.
like that mission where you're going through the caves, they're like, oh, my partner there, he got mauled by a
My
cougar.
partner now.
Yeah, so now I have to kill it. So yeah, and then chapter after chapter after chapter, it's just a solid game. It really builds it. They do a really great job of story building with each chapter.
Right.
Like each part, they kind of chip away about what's the real concern of the game. In the beginning, there's a lot of I guess there's a lot of foreshadowing of like just the type of like if you're analyze movies or really going into cinematics and storylines, like you'll understand like within the very early introductions of everybody, they kind of like introduce um, potentially what could go wrong with all of their relationships. In the very beginning,
Oh no. I saw that.
like you knew there was gonna be like if you
can
played
see
the
who's
game,
the problem.
you know who's a problem in the first
Right.
scene in the first cut scenes. You know who's a problem, and you know what could potentially be a problem. Like it looks good now, but you can see how close it is. You can see like the way they talk to each other. You can see like okay, they're
I see the cracks.
you see the cracks really on, and it kind of like a lot of when I was looking at the later on in the game, I was like I knew it. I knew for a fact.
Right.
I knew for a fact
Dog,
that was
'cause,
gonna be it.
Like my experience is me skipping the middle because I played through a little bit of the beginning, then I watched you finish it, and I was like, what the? Those
Yeah, because you knew. Like, I guess like spoiler alert. If you haven't finished the game or if you never finished the game, like you should have done so by now. But hey,
You're the only
Do what you gotta
oh
do.
yeah, okay. So, like you already understand that Dutch. You
Is
know
an
that
issue.
you know that Dutch is the issue from mission 1. It's like I know, like you know that archetype of a character. Like he's like I guess like within Rockstar.
talking fuckboy.
The smooth talking fuckboy. That guy is going to
He's
be
literally
the issue.
in every single
game.
Rockstar game.
Literally every
Yeah.
single game they have that guy.
His vest is nice though. He has a nice vest.
Listen, dressed to me, he a little fashionista. Like, come on. let's be
Honestly,
real.
I take the hat.
Bro,
The hat,
the coat, the vest, and the boots, bro. This nigga is stylish.
That nigga was stop.
It's like
Don't play.
how
Don't
we
play.
hold up in the mountains hiding and you
It's like we,
rushed
it's like
together?
it's like
What's
we're
going
bandits.
on here?
We're bandits, but at the same time we can.
We
get
can't eat.
What you over there? Is that Gucci?
Really though, really.
But really though,
really. But
It's
yeah.
fun, Dutch.
Like each chapter it kind of chips away. Like, do they? It's like Dutch feeling that the trust that all of the everybody have in their community, everybody in their community is kind of slipping away, and he just cracks.
I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Because them smooth talking fuckboys in their nice vests.
Yeah, I mean, eventually, you know what's coming.
Look, I'm just saying, if them smooth talking fuckboys ever had a good idea in their life, it's probably shutting up.
So
They ain't got. They don't have that ability.
So the middle was really the middle was really I wouldn't say filler, but it was like some stuff going on. It's just continuing the story. It's a good time. You're going through chapter. It's typical Rockstar going through different areas. They have a cast of characters that you need to meet, that you do missions for, get missions from, friends, foes, all of that good stuff. And then there's always that left turn that they make. It's like you think this game is gonna. This is all
that
that
bitch
the
you
game.
thought?
Yeah, they always have that bitch you thought. And when they go to fucking Dharma, and they go through missions trying to free slaves. I'm just like, yo, what the actual fuck is this game? Like, it's like they always do it. Like, I don't like. It's always interesting to see what always comes up, but this time I was just like,
They didn't make the friendly Wild West. They made the Wild West.
they made the Wild West because you forget like this is like early. This is like
How many KKK members did you kill?
I didn't see them that often.
Oh, okay. Did you kill all of them?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, at least one I threw like
you
a
gotta,
fireball.
you gotta leave it one Django-inspired bloodbath. I mean,
Yeah, I mean everybody like you know.
they gave it to you.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, yo, come on.
The cops won't condemn you for this one.
No, but yeah. So when they were on the island, I was just like, this is real shit. Like, okay, they ended slavery in America, but it's like still early 20th century Caribbean.
Right.
Like that's literally where like slavery started. Like in the like we talk about it in America, but like in the Caribbean,
That was where
that's where like
they
the real
landed.
that's where the real shit was like real.
They looked
Because
around,
there
it was
were
like, I got
resources.
plans.
There was other than cotton. Like picking cotton's one thing.
Yeah,
And that's
and
one
we
resource.
have-
there's
but,
Rum over there.
and there's no winter. Like there,
right.
so it's like year
It's an
round.
agricultural.
Year
it's a
round
better
agriculture.
spot.
Like there's no winter where you get to take a break and do some other things.
I mean,
like,
that triangle.
But it's just like,
Yeah.
like imagine like you go into that country. It's like you have to be like meet up with this revolutionary. It's like, yo, we gotta free these people. Like they kind of like introduce like, okay, this is like it's kind of crazy in America, but like this shit right here, this shit is crazy. And I appreciate that they brought that attention into like I guess like more like like you don't really get to see a lot of foreign areas in I guess like in a lot of games where you go into a completely different country,
Right.
and it's like the rules kind of change there.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated that. Then they get back to America, finish up the story, and then the motherfucking twist. This motherfucker got tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis.
TB. Consumption. Whatever they called it back then.
The Edgar Allan.
Yeah, it's like, what is this fucking Oregon Trail? Like, why did they
Yes,
just...
that's the fucked up thing.
It's like,
Yes.
This is like, this is basically Oregon Trail. This entire game was fucking Oregon Trail, the extended cut. So you find out that he gets tuberculosis, like straight up. He falls off his horse. He's sick. It was like, wait a second, he's been healthy this entire time, but it's like, no, like he's really sick. And then he goes to the doctor, and the doctor's like, yeah, you got tuberculosis. I'm just like,
Dang.
dog, my heart fucking broke. I was like, yo, you gonna give my nigga
Well, you knew he had to
tuberculosis?
die.
You knew he had to die because of
But
course, like in the
still
very
deserved better.
like in the beginning, you're not. It's a Red Dead game. There is John Marston, but you're not John Marston. You're gonna die. Like you just know. Like there's no
It's
other.
like if you're not playing the main character, if you're in a prequel and you're not playing the main character from the original game,
you're gonna like you die. You're gonna die.
it's
So
just a
he's
matter
like,
of how.
how is gonna die?
So he's Zach.
yeah,
R.I.P.
got flared.
God damn.
I don't know.
If you play, it's Zach is the author to John Marston's Cloud.
Yeah. So Cloud
From
from
Final
Final Fantasy.
Oh,
VII.
okay.
Blonde hair.
Yeah. So
What's
the
the
same
story?
way John Marston was the RDR1 was about him, like Final Fantasy VII was about Cloud, but then they had the prequel with Arthur, who just generally seems to be regarded as a better character than John.
I haven't played Red Dead 1, but you kind of you would get that. What John's character was in that in Red Dead 2 is similar to how he was in Red Dead 1.
Right.
And yeah, Arthur.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
so Zach,
Arthur's the shit.
Yeah, Arthur. He's
Arthur's
Yeah.
real.
Zach
Others,
is
he just-
an
he
infinitely
just
better
real.
version in every way. Just think of every attribute of Cloud. Every negative attribute was replaced with positive attribute, and every positive attribute was just outshined.
Zach deserved better.
Zach deserved so much better than what
Yeah.
he got.
and
Even though he went out one of the best video game deaths, he went out like a G. He was on the top of a mountain, literally fighting an army that had machine guns with a big ass sword.
it's similar to the way Arthur died. He's fighting the
Like I
army
said.
on the top of a mountain.
Like I said,
But
deserved so much better.
yeah. So they I saw a YouTube video. I wanted to read about it. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, what happens? Like I didn't like I was like, yo, what can I do? Is it curable? And I read that it kind of foreshadows in a mission in one of the earlier missions from Levi Strauss when you're collecting the loan money, and then when you're approaching one of these people, they cough blood in your face. And I remember that being one of those visceral moments, like, yo, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
'cause it
yeah.
just
It's
happened
like
for me.
oh, once I read that, I was like, oh yeah, that did happen because it was like one of those moments. It's like, yo, what the fuck? But it's like Rockstar, like they do shit like that all the time. So it's like you never.
Look, you're in a crazy area. Shit
Yeah,
happens.
you just don't think about it. Then all of a sudden, it's like, yo, I'm
Oh
sick.
no, that meant something.
That is like, yeah, that actually meant something. And so going through the game, I think that's one of the first games that I've ever played as a you're like a sick person and you know it's not going to get better. So you know eventually it's like you know eventually you're gonna die. Like it's gonna happen. You don't know how many missions you have left, but you can see that it's getting worse. You can see it's like it's really like it really is sad. It's just really sad to see his health deteriorate.
Right.
We're more ghosts than people, I believe.
Yeah, it's just really sad. Like you keep going, the missions get. It's like you keep seeing him trying and trying and trying to lift everybody up, but it's just like he can barely do anything for himself. So at the end, he's kind of like, well, I know I'm gonna die, so I'm just gonna do everything that I can to help everybody else out after I'm gone, so they don't need me as much. And that's I guess like that's part of like how he's the reason why he can't. The reason why he's ushering people like, yo, you gotta leave, you gotta get out of here because like he is no longer there to protect them. So it's like, yo, you have to go. Like you have to go. I'm not gonna tell you what's going on with me. Like I don't. I'm just.
Right.
You see that I don't look good. So for your protection, I know Dutch better than you know Dutch, and the Dutch that I see right now is not somebody you want to be around, and I won't be able to. I won't be able to protect you from him. So you have to go.
Right.
And seeing that was just it's like it really is the best that Rockstar has put out. It's just like the story itself is so amazing. The gameplay itself is so amazing. The everything they did around it, the graphics, the music, it was just amazing. And then when it got to the end, so it was like the end was just like like a complete cliffhanger. It's just like what's going to happen. Like they're fighting against they're going against like the Pinkertons. Like they're really going after them. So it's just like what's really going on? It's like each cut scene is getting worse. It's like nothing's getting better. It's like they're running. You don't know what's going on. And then you get that final showdown with Micah, and then it's like everybody else lives, but then Arthur has to die because he's sick. Like he's literally fighting. Like the last fight with Arthur is like he's literally just throwing hands. At the end, he's just throwing. He's trying to get to the gun, but he's just throwing hands, and he just can't. He can't do it.
He should have coughed on him.
He should have called.
That would have taken. That would
Should've
have
coughed on
taken.
him.
That's called playing the long game, right
Yeah,
there.
that's the one. I'm like, well, why is he not coughing on him? Like that's your special. That should have been a button, like circle.
But yeah, it was like by the end it was just so sad, and then he finally he dies, and it's just like, oh my fucking god, this is the saddest shit. Like I remember Grand Theft Auto 4, that ending was pretty sad. Uh, but this shit right here was just like,
Well, there's no such thing as a cowboy movie with a happy ending.
Yeah.
I mean, and so you get that epilogue.
Yeah, but I mean, the epilogue is the setup.
Yeah,
So-
the epilogue is completely separated. Technically, it's like technically the game is over. The rest is an actual what it means to be a cowboy. That is the cowboy simulator. The epilogue, like I think that's literally one of the titles of one of the mission title of the missions is like kind of like Rancher Simulator or something like that. It's like because you're literally just like building a fence.
I mean, heck.
Like that's what you're like. That's what
I
you're
mean,
doing.
heck. When you started the game, you were already at the end of the cowboy era. When you began, it was
Yeah.
already over.
Right. So, what's your next move, Josh? Are you gonna? Because there's PlayStation Now that if you have good enough internet, you can play Red Dead Redemption 1 emulated on your PS4, and it'll run decently enough that just for someone like you who you really just loved Red Dead Redemption 2, I say, and if you've never played the first one, I say, and you like Red Dead Revolver, I say you go and give it a try.
Oh yeah, I definitely played the first one. Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the
So,
shit out of that.
oh, okay. So, are you gonna go on to GTA 5?
Yeah,
Are you
I'm
going?
already deep within GTA 5.
Okay.
Nice.
So,
The comparison, GTA 5, fucking. When I first started, I was like, yo, this game fucking sucks. I can't even lie. The first
Really?
2 hours, I was like, yo, this game fucking sucks. Like it's like so much shit is going on. The storyline is not. It's like very barely any effort. Like it's like it's almost as if it's almost like this. It's like almost like a parody of itself.
yeah, I get
No,
you.
you're right about
It's,
that.
it's just a parody of itself to the point where it's
And
not,
online is the escalation of that to the nth degree.
yeah. I mean, I feel like the online, the online is like what it was intended to be, but it's like the storyline itself. It carried nothing. Like it wasn't even. It's not even a story. It's
I'm
just
gonna
a
be
game.
real with you. It does. I'm about halfway through that story. It does get better.
It gets better.
It actually
is
gets
it
better.
is it an
It's-
actual story?
Yes, actually, it's one of those. Once the three playable characters actually get together, it becomes a story.
It becomes
Yeah,
a story.
the heists, like the first heist
I mean,
is not.
It's not the Red Dead, the emotional like this is the arc of a character that we're watching. These are like three idiots getting into trouble. A lot.
I mean, when I first got into it, I guess like that's what I thought. But then when I think about all the other, Grand Theft Auto games, all of them, you can think of them as movies. Like the first one is like a gritty New York, early 2000s crime, like a crime drama. The San Andreas is like a San Andreas Boys in the Hood. Vice City,
I was like,
Scarface.
Sure.
Like they're actual full.
Five is more. I would say it's more of a TV series, just because it's more like this is the Trevor episode, this is the Michael episode.
I feel like it doesn't work. It doesn't work for them.
It kind.
Maybe, or as if my first impression when I first get into the game, it really disappointed me. Especially because like on other, like when I'm continuing the game, like like in every Grand Theft Auto game, within early or like after like the first mission, you get the race mission where you can start
The what?
the race mission. Like
Like driving a car?
street
Yeah.
race, like
You know,
street
Need
racing.
for
Like
Speed,
after the first mission, it's
Midnight
like
Club.
okay, now you can start doing street racing to earn money.
Alright.
So the way that they
Yeah.
the way that they introduce it was just like you kind of have to go here and you already know the guy, and the guy's like, hey, you want to race? Okay, we're racing. It's like there's no way that it ties in. There's no
Yeah.
nothing extra. That's like yo, come in here. Like they did little to no effort in tying these extra things in. Like I remember like in San Andreas, you have to meet somebody. It's like, oh yeah, you have to get to know them as a character, build some context, and then you're racing. With the Vice City and even Grand Theft Auto 3 is like, you pick up a payphone. It's like, oh yeah, so are you into this? All right, now you can go racing. So it's like some
I
sort
thought
of.
in Vice City, when you bought the car dealership, and then like the one where you kept having to like steal a bunch of cars and put it in the garage, and you got money for that. There was like a side map where you can go there, and then that's where they did their racings.
Okay, I may be misremembering Vice City then. But they built they built
You-
a
there-
con-
there
they
was a
built
reason for
yeah
it.
they built a context for that.
It depends on the mission in five. Like some missions, yeah, it felt like we didn't establish a context. Some they established a context. It
But like
depends.
I just feel like there was always context, and now context means nothing in this game.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was disappointing. I mean, really, context really just takes an extra 10 seconds of dialogue. Really,
Yeah.
even if you want to be lazy about it, it takes an extra 10 seconds of dialogue to build some sort of context of why this is happening, and they just don't do that. It's just a bunch. It really felt like a bunch. They're just throwing a bunch of things
Yeah.
into it, and it didn't really feel like it didn't really feel like what I really wanted out of Rockstar.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is my first. It got better after a while. I just started playing a few.
Actually, how far are you into the story? What was the last thing that happened?
I just got to Trevor. I'm just started
That
playing.
a
Yeah,
lot
it's
of
about
those
to start
contents for
picking
those
up.
activities comes after that. Like the story, Grand Theft Auto 5, in my opinion, becomes more like a Grand Theft Auto in terms of story once all three characters are introduced them together. Like Beforehand, it's still like you're in an extended tutorial.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
like,
I feel.
this is how we introduced the mayhem missions because Trevor's creepy. This is how we introduced the driving missions because crap, what is his name? He's a good driver.
Franklin has the.
Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
Franklin can drive real well. Like, we're gonna start introducing the heist through Michael. It's one of those like, once all three characters are together, it becomes more that kind of.
That's cool, but like I think the last time I played, it kind of clicked for me of like what they were trying to go for. Like it didn't come to me like out of all the other games, it comes to you immediately. It's like, okay, this is the type of game I'm gonna be playing. Like you kind of get the tone, the story. You're trying to think about what's coming next. With this game, it's kind of like a bunch of stuff just happening. And then once I got to a certain point of the game, it's like, okay, I kind of get what they were going for with this. So
Yeah.
I'll continue to give it a chance.
All right. I think that's all we got time for this week, especially since my laptop just died. Remember, you can follow us all collectively on Twitter and Instagram at CheesyController without the last E. We're now on YouTube at youtube.com/CheesyControllerPodcast. You can follow me on Twitter at Anton6 Madrid.
Speedwagon X.
Jalen,
Squid Bishop.
Chris,
Chef and Chris.
Josh.
I know Jones everywhere.
All right, this has been a Know It's Good production. Until next time, keep it cheesy. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 85 of the Cheesy Controller Podcast. I'm your host, Anton LaPlatte. With me, as always, is Madrid Devon, Jalen Roberts,
Really? Is that what we're doing today?
Chris Montalbano,
What did you just say?
Road Roller.
Okay.
Oh.
and Josh
Dio
Jones.
style.
Where am I ghosting people?
We got a jam-packed episode for you guys this week. We're going to be talking about Seto Kaiba sucking his own dick, Jalen's vendetta against Ninja Theory, Premium Cardboard, System of a Down album, and smooth-talking fuckboys with their nice vests.